Hello and welcome back to the MMA Split Pick Show for UFC Vegas 63, headlined by Calvin Kattar taking on England's own Arnold Allen. With me
No,
to discuss all of these
sorry.
fights is producer Josh, who has already jumped in
Yeah,
before
well,
his
it's not
introduction.
just England's own. It's also Ipswich, which is where my girlfriend comes from.
Fantastic. Ipswich flags will be flying high in Josh's abode.
Oh, I don't know if there is an Ipswich flag, I'm not letting it fly around here. It could be Bournemouth or Dorset or nothing.
I respect that. Well, he will be supported nonetheless. It's on a pretty sneaky good card with some really interesting matchups, some good fighters, some hard to call fights. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what Josh's picks are going to be, particularly as after week one, I am narrowly, narrowly in the lead on our tally so far. To remind everybody, we are doing it differently this year. We are not deciding the winner or loser based on each individual week and then counting number of weeks won. We're just keeping a running tally across a 12-week period or a 3-month period. And whoever in that period has predicted the most total number of fights correct wins the picks season. So I'm in the lead. It's narrow. I'm either one or two ahead. We have to confirm and look back and see what Josh's
Yeah,
selection was on.
everything was written on my PC, which is shit the bed. But I will go back and rewatch last week's pick show. And in fact, right now, you will be able to see the score table because I have had time to go in and edit that in. So that's the score table for you, as it stands.
Very nice. We are still audio only for this day, while Josh is getting his PC fixed. Next week, we should be back to our full video quality. So apologies for that. Apologies for the lateness of the episode coming out as well. Tech issues do have a tendency to push timelines back. Final thing to say, guys, please do like the video if you're enjoying the content. Subscribe if you are not already subscribed. Feel free to leave comments. Whatever comment you leave is going to be appreciated. And with all of that out the way, Josh, Allen versus Kattar. We've wanted this fight all year. We've wanted this fight ever since Arnold Allen TKO'd Dan Hooker in London, and now we're getting it. How do you feel about the fight? How excited are you? And where's your pick leaning?
I am an absolute fucking 10 out of 10 on the excitement factor. This is a great fucking fight. They when they get going, Cater works the jab an awful lot better than Allen ever will. Allen has a lot more holes in his game, but he can also threaten a lot more on the mat, in the clinch and submission game. And I feel like Cater's best weapons are going to be that jab, the height. Reach is actually not too pronounced. It's only a couple of inches there. But going up against a southpaw, going up against the younger man, going up against the guy that's absolutely flying right now, I'm leaning Allen. I think well, Kate has got to be wary of the level change. He's got to be wary of the power in Allen's hands. Allen does not have great head movement. Kater could certainly tee off on him, but
Well,
I'm
actually, see, I'm going to disagree with you there because I feel in the Dan Hooker fight, Allen showed much better head movement. You know, that catch counter that he kind of wobbled Dan Hooker with right at the start, came from him pulling back on a 1-2 and then landing afterwards. So I actually think that's going to be one of the interesting sort of matchups with this striking battle. Is you're going to have Cater who likes to work that jab and use it and pressure and does employ that high guard, and you're going to have Allen who I think, okay, maybe he's not going to be utilizing the jab as effectively, but I think he's going to be moving laterally a lot more. I think you're going to see more sort of movements from his torso and his head. And I think he is going to be looking to try and pull back on those 1-2s and then land with something hard.
yeah, but his head movement, he has to be very conscious of it. It's like he has to be thinking and reminding himself to do it. And as soon as he smells a bit of blood in the water, his head movement goes completely out the window. He's not alone in that respect. But I feel like that's somewhere that Cater can propose, can offer a bit of, not a bit of, can offer a huge fucking threat to him. You know, getting caught getting a little over eager. But I take it you're leaning the same way as me. You're going Allen on this one.
Yeah, well, it's a really hard fight to call because I know that you've got the Dan Hooker win on your resume, but there's a lot of asterisks next to that with Hooker in terms of confidence and being on a bit of a losing streak and the drop down to featherweight. And we've seen Kattar fight the very best in this division. And he hasn't always won those fights, but he's been in there with them. We can kind of measure his level based on that. Allen's the one who's taken the big step up here. And he's taken that step up against a guy that, as you say, whatever I feel about head movement, Calvin Kattar's got the better striking in terms of using his hands in his boxing. Allen's got to be the rounded guy. He's got to be the mixed martial artist fighting the boxer if he wants to win this. And that means kicks, that means distance management, that means throwing it to, even if you're not looking to necessarily succeed with the takedown, and even if the takedown doesn't work, level changing just to create that problem. Throwing as many different problems at Kattar so that you're not just having to create those issues and those problems with your hands and your feet. If he does that, and if he uses his high fight IQ, I do think that Kattar's beatable. I think he has a tendency when people are blitzing at him to get very defensive. We saw that in the Josh Emmett fight. The whole reason Emmett really won that is he was just able to have a few blitzes in at least 3 of the rounds. And every time he did that, Kattar just kind of employed the high guard and retreated. So that might be something Kattar's been working on, but it does look like he kind of struggles to sort of effectively counter-strike. He likes to sort of put the pressure on or be defensive. And I think that's something that Arnold Allen can take advantage of. But Allen can also get clipped. Even in the Dan Hooker fight, we can see that when he does like to go forward, he can be a little bit susceptible to check left hooks, counter straights. And if he does think that he can hang with Calvin Kattar and just stand up with him, and if he gets lured into boxing range for a prolonged period of time, I think this will end up being Kattar's fight. But he's on a 11-fight win streak? 8-fight win streak? What's his win streak, Arnold Allen?
Shit. It is a long win streak.
He's not lost
2014 is the last time he lost. That was in Cage Warriors. That's
undefeated in the UFC. That's an 8-year win streak. And Calvin Kattar has had some good wins, fights. But Kattar's 2-2 in his last 4 fights.
Yeah, although to be fair,
4-3 in his last 7.
Yeah, but those losses are Holloway, Emmett. Yeah, Magomed Jarapov. Which, to be fair, apart from the Holloway fight, he was really in those other 2 fights for the most part. I think the only other loss he had in the UFC was Moicano, who's a great fighter. Certainly was back in his prime.
I'm thinking more in terms of confidence, though. You've got one guy that's coming in having not lost in the UFC, not lost for 8 years. And Kattar's coming off a loss and being a little 500 when it comes to kind of fighting those top 5, top 10 guys. So I do wonder whether or not that confidence coming into it plays a factor. He's taken a lot of damage. He's the older guy. That's the thing that's always surprising about Kattar. He's 34, 35 years old now.
I think he might even be older. When's he? Oh, no, yeah, my bad, 34. I thought he was about my age. 34. He's a little younger.
Yeah, 34 is not young for featherweight. And I know he's not particularly old in terms of MMA, but he did a lot of boxing before then. You know, certainly has, you know, taken a lot of damage throughout his young life in a variety of different sports as well. So these factors come into it. And, you know, I remember watching the Josh Emmett fight thinking, you know, is he being so defensive because that's a tactical thing with dealing with Emmett's blitzes? Or is there that element of, you know, after something like the Max fight, you're a bit more cautious. You're not necessarily looking for that counter strike in the way that maybe you were against Jeremy Stevens.
I don't know, because he massively outclassed Chikadze, and Allen does not hit as hard
as Emmett
does.
That's a good point. You know what? I'd completely forgotten the Chikadze fight.
Yeah, he bounced back in a big way after Holloway, so...
That's a bloody good point. That's a bloody good point.
What's the betting line on this?
You've got to make Kattar
I'm looking at Kattar as a slight favourite here.
Yeah, I'd have him as the favourite. I'm still going to pick Allen. Bit of patriotism. And I think you're picking Allen as well, so I can pick it safely.
Yeah, picking Allen as well. And if I was to put a parlay on right now, Roundtree means Allen. All three coming in as dogs. That could be that's a cheeky little bet right there. That's worth a squirt. I might go
It's
for that
not a bad
actually.
little bet. Well, talking about your little parlay, let's move down to the co-main event. Great fun fight. Tim Means taking on Max Griffin. That's just one of those fights where you look at it and go, you guys know what you're doing. Two guys that are going to show up. Maybe not the best, maybe not threatening the top 15 or the title picture, but they've been around. They're going to bring it. I favor Max Griffin on this one.
Yeah, despite the way I'll be betting this weekend, I am also going with Max Griffin. You know,
I hate to
losing a
pick
Neil
against Tim
Magny
Means.
is something that happens to a lot of people, frankly. And as great as Tim Means is, I don't think. You know, he impressed a lot. That little run, Staropoli, Mike Perry, Dolby, all decent fighters. I don't think any of them can really move in the same way as Griffin. And I don't think, with the exception of maybe Perry, I don't think any of them hit anywhere near as hard as Griffin does. Yeah,
He's got that height and length that caused Means so many issues, not to the same degree, but you look at when Means fought Holland, and just that length and reach advantage he had was a real problem for him. And
yeah,
Max Griffin doesn't have that same kind of danger, but he's got those same kind of weapons. And he lost, quote in quotation marks, that Neil Magny fight. That was as close as it was. He was on Neil Magny's level that day.
absolutely. Which is a top fucking level.
Yeah, I can't look past Griffin. We're both on Griffin for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, I in my head I have it very close. Tim Means really is made a living out of disappointing and surprising people. So I'm
True.
definitely putting a bit of money down on that little three-way Aki. But yeah, I think Max Griffin's probably got this.
Well, we move down to our feature fight, which in true Fight Night fashion is the obligatory low-level heavyweights that should not be this high up on the card.
Oh,
Jared
I
Vanderaa.
actually have Jacoby Roundtree in the spot. I hope that
Ah,
is right. Even this
I've got
close
the
to the fights, it could
heavyweights.
change. But
I've got Cortez Acosta versus Jared Vanderaa, and I really hope you're right. I'd much rather have
yeah,
Jacoby versus Roundtree there.
we'll pick the heavies first. But dear viewer,
This will be quick.
I hope you got your fingers crossed just like we have. We want fucking Jacoby Roundtree in that spot all day long.
Well, either way, the fights are still going to be on the same night, so I'm not overly fussed. And to move past the heavyweights quickly, Jared Vanderaa has not really lived up to expectations so far.
No,
Uh,
Jared Vanderaa is a UFC fighter. That's really about as much as you can say. And
yeah,
this this might be it.
yeah, he's fighting an undefeated guy coming up from the Contender Series from the looks of things. Obviously, they're giving him Vanderaa because they want him to get an impressive victory and kind of start his career well. This is Cortez Acosta all day. I can't possibly pick against him.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when you could be like, well, Vanderaa, he lost to Spivak, lost to Romanov, Arlovsky, Oleanic. You're like, these are great fucking guys. And then he lost to Chase Sherman. So, I don't know anyone that would put money on Vanderaa, anyone that would pick Vanderaa. I'm surprised the betting line as it stands is as close as it is, but he's not exactly a small dog. It's a moderate underdog here. I'm going Cortez Acosta.
I think we're pretty much like for like so far. Let's see if this continues on to the next fight.
It probably will, won't it?
Josh Fremd taking on Tressian Gore. I remember seeing Tressian Gore in the Tough 29 house and being so excited about what this guy could do. And it's been stumbles so far. Doesn't look like the right weight class, doesn't look like the right preparation. He doesn't look like he's at the right level. I've got to go Fremd.
Yeah, Friend was pretty fucking exciting in his last fight. Trey Sean, I'm going to say, the fight with Brian Battle, it's like, well, Battle's looking pretty fucking good, to be honest. And could be a real force at 170, which is where Trey Sean should probably be dropping as well. Yeah, the loss to Cody Brundage, you're like, actually, let's slow down. This kid's got 5 fights now, 2 losses. hasn't won in the UFC. Kind of is what it is. And Josh Fremd, I know he lost against Fluffy, but I think he is head and shoulders above Trayshawn Gore. So Fremd it is. Plus, any guy called Josh with a ginger beard is a man after my own heart. I love the way these people try to copy me. Flattery is the sincere... Wait. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Getting your words right is the most professional way to podcast. Doesn't matter. Pick him Fremd.
That statement would work so much better if we weren't audio only this week.
They know what I look like. If you don't know what I look like, go watch the other videos. And like and subscribe, you fat
and
conspirator.
subscribe. Takes us to Dustin Jacoby, whose name I can never say correctly due to my dyslexia, taking on Khalil Roundtree.
Fun fight.
It's all about which Khalil shows up for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly,
Savage,
even if he comes out of Bangkok ready, it's he needs to land one good clean shot because Jacoby is way too much of a technician for Khalil Roundtree to be winning a decision here.
And he's bigger and longer, and he fights at range, and he's got an extensive kickboxing career, and he's not going to be caught with anything overly stupid.
No, and shit, this guy can roll off the fucking sofa and win fights. He is low-key a fucking beast in this division.
It's just that you just know that Khalil has that ability to just wake up one day, that right amount of angry, and just go, murder somebody like Gohan Saki, or destroy Eric Anders, or fucking end the career of that fucking English bloke. He lived in England but wasn't from England. I can't remember what his name is. Absolutely just murdered his knee.
Bukowskis. I'm trying to remember where he's like Lithuania. Fuck. Oh shit.
Somewhere around there, but he was training out with England.
Like he grew up in London. Lithuania. Jesus, I guess it's so many things. I had to get something right at some point.
It's like, that just that Khalil could step in there, and it's like a fucking unleashed animal in the octagon, built and programmed to hurt you. But then the other Khalil could show up, where he's not in animal mode, and he doesn't quite have that confidence, and he loses heart, and he starts getting tired. The safer pick's Jacoby. I've got to go Jacoby. I wanted to go Khalil, but I've got to go Jacoby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit disappointed you went Allen because I thought that was going to be my my separation this week, and I was just going to claw one back. Even if we go the same all the way down the fucking thing, I can't risk it. I've got to stick with Jacoby on this one.
I respect that. Prelims are stacked on this one. Absolutely stacked. For me, I'm looking forward to some of these fights more than the main card, and that is certainly true with Phil Hawes taking on Roman Dolidze. Boring Roman Dolidze, everyone said, gets a stunning knockout in his last fight. Brutal knee to the head. 10-1, taking on Phil Hawes, who's had a stumble, but we have been seriously excited about Phil Hawes. He's not Megatron anymore, though, is he? He's changed his name.
Yeah, no hype.
No hype.
Just real.
Well, there is hype behind no hype, and a bit of hype building behind Roman Dolidze as well. For Phil Hawes, I feel like if he can keep this fight standing, he wins it. But Roman Dolidze is going to put that pressure on, and he's going to try and get him up against that cage in the clinch, having to carry his weight and deal with him. And now we also know that Dolidze is going to be throwing knees in that clinch, throwing power strikes, trying to get him out there as well. This is tough for Phil Hawes, but I think with that lower, being a little bit smaller, has that low stance, I think he's going to be able to deal with takedowns well, and is striking so good, man. I feel he's going to be able to get the TKO win here. I'm going Hawes.
I am also going Hawes, and you know what? Despite the slight height disparity, he's actually got an inch and a half on him in reach. So, yeah, no hype all day.
Andrei Arlovsky is back again, the ageless man who keeps knocking away these young contenders.
Sounds like
he is taking on. He is taking on Marcos Rogerio de Lima. And this man is going to absolutely murder Andrei Arlovsky because...
I don't pick the same way I'm picking.
Dude, I've picked against Lima before, and he's reminded me how stupid that was. The guy blitzes, and when he blitzes, he doesn't stop. And when he hurts you, he doesn't stop. And he will throw and throw and throw. And Arlovsky has not got the fucking chin to deal with that anymore. I think for Arlovsky to win these fights, he has to turn it into a slow, patient, high IQ, at range fight. And I don't think Lima's going to let him do that. Lima's going to be in his face. This is the types of fights that Arlovsky loses.
Yeah, and to be honest, since moving up to heavyweight, well, actually, to be honest, all through his career, it's really more been the submissions that were Lima's downfall. Arlovsky's not going to really pull that out of the bag. Arlovsky's probably going to be quite happy to keep this one standing, and I just don't think athletically he's going to be able to go toe for toe with Lima. It will be a reasonably close fight. I think it might even be a decision. But, Lima only really loses to top guys that are more or less around their prime, But Blagoy Ivanov's a little past, but he's still a fucking beast. And he hasn't got, recently he hasn't had the mileage put on him that some other fighters have. Alexander Romanov, obviously, top fighter, shit hot prospect. Although he does need to pace himself a little better. And then he did also lose to Stefan Struve, but you know what I mean, even Miocic lost to Stefan Struve, so I'm just going to sweep that one under the rug.
Yeah.
Go and Lima on this one.
Go and Lima.
You sure you're not going Arlovsky? I can't tempt you with some Arlovsky right now.
No, but I'd be interested to see if we're the same on this one, because this is a fight I'm really not sure on. Middleweight division, ugly man Joseph Holmes taking on Park Jun-young. I fucking love Park Jun-young.
You can't have Iron Turtle. We've got Joseph Holmes at home. You idiot. I was going to say we've got Joseph at Holmes. And it was going to be that you can't have ice cream, we've got rice at home. But I fucked it.
I love the Iron Turtle, man, but there's hype behind Ugly Man Joe for a reason, and it's not just because of his mustache.
Are you picking
Had a
Holmes?
stumble, and I'm picking Holmes, man.
Oh, yeah. Go on, pick him.
I've gone Ugly Man Joe.
Oh, you sweet fool. No, Iron Turtle all day. What are you doing?
Ugly Man Joe, dude. This guy can fucking fight. He had a stumble in his first fight, showed everybody what he's about in his second fight in the UFC. Park Jun-young, Iron Turtle, is as game as they come. Tough as anything. I love the rocky walkout. Joseph Holmes, I think, gets it done.
It's not just the walkout.
Got separation.
It's that winning grin. Yes, we do.
You got separation.
Friend. Joseph Holmes isn't submitting Junior Park, I feel. I might be wrong, but I don't feel it's going to happen. And he's not Robocop. Well, he's not going to almost get knocked out and then knock him out. So
true. Well, nobody's Robocop. Even Robocop isn't really Robocop. Robocop is only one man. He's not even a man. Paul Weller.
He's only part man.
Exactly. Chase Hooper, Steve Garcia. I'm taking Hooper. That last fight, he actually looked like a man. He looked physical. He looked powerful. I'm convinced. I'm starting to get excited. I think he's actually UFC ready now.
Oh, yes. I am fully behind the dream. So, Chase Hooper for me.
Cody Durden. Sorry, Cody Durden. Taking on Carlos Mota. I know I break this rule a lot. And earlier on this picks, I picked somebody I haven't seen fight because they're fighting Jared Vanderar, who I just don't think is very good. Cody Durden's no fool, man. The guy can fight. The guy's actually pretty damn good, and he's getting better. You might not like him. You might not like what he says on the mic. I don't know enough about Carlos Mota to not pick Cody here.
Yeah, I don't know if Durden's actually like a racist and a xenophobe, or he's just an idiot. I'm leaning towards the latter.
I've kind of quite strongly felt that he just said a stupid thing once on the mic that's been really heavily blown up, and he's had to eat a lot of shit for it.
Yeah. Fuck him though.
Listen, it's not like he went Kanye West on the mic, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it wasn't like I am brazenly racist and there ain't shit you can do about it, which also not true. He's already lost, or his sports management team, Donda Sports, have lost Aaron Donald, Jaylen Brown. I'm sure there are going to be more to follow. Like, this guy is just hemorrhaging credibility.
Adidas dropped him.
Yeah, right after he said they couldn't. Ah, what a dickhead. I'm going Carlos Mota mostly because we discussed this fight before we started recording, and I knew I could get some separation here. And I don't know, I just don't love picking Durden. He is a good fighter, but I don't love picking him. Not because
Okay, yeah,
of the shit he says, just because I don't really believe in him.
fair enough.
Much like Father Christmas.
First fight. First fight, Christian Rodriguez taking on Joshua Weems. I really don't know too much on either guy, if I'm perfectly honest. I am just going to go Christian Rodriguez because that's the name that I saw first.
I'm going Weems because namesake. So I've got every Josh on the card.
Flawless logic. Flawless logic.
You'd make fun of me now.
And
I might creep into the lead this week.
you may well do. We're going to find out. There's enough separation for that certainly to happen. I don't think we could end up being tied this week, but you never know. I have to do the proper count and see. That's the pick show for this week, guys. Feel free to leave your own picks in the comments. Please do like the video, share it, subscribe, all that jazz. 300 views was awesome, but we only had a couple of likes on our last video, so please keep those likes coming in. And any feedback is appreciated so we can know how we can improve this, make this more enjoyable for you all to listen to. Next week, visuals will be back. You will see our ugly mugs once again. Thank you for the patience, if you have listened this far, for dealing with just a thumbnail to stare at. But we thank you for listening anyway. Enjoy the rest of your week. Look, have a good time watching the fights. And by Dave, by Laurie, by Trifo.
And I will try to be less drunk when I write the episode descriptions this week. So maybe give me some love in the comments for doing some shit sober. By Laurie, by Dave.